Books, the border, and dog chains factored into this week in Texas politics. Today's Fox 7 Austin's Rudy Koski and our panel of political analysts talked about how those topics played out this week and how another big vaccination fight may be looming for next week.
Well, it was a week in Texas without a special session, but that doesn't mean we didn't have any politics in this week in Texas. Let's get right to it and start off with our headlines for the week in politics. We'll start off with news veteran Neil Spelch. Neil.
My headline is a French phrase, la plus on change, la plus même chose, or whatever that is. The more things change, the more they're the same.
Grover Jeffers with Dallas Morning News, your headline for the week.
It's a prelude to the 2022 elections. The special sessions are over, but you still see lawmakers jockeying for position for next year.
Brian Smith, St. Edward's University, your headline for the week.
Part-time legislature considers meeting full-time.
And political consultant Mark Wiggins, your headline for the week.
Book inquiry. I'd like someone to ask, where did Matt Krause come up with the list of almost 1,000 books? I find it hard to believe he sat there and came up with all of them himself.
And let's start off with that great school book investigation launched by Representative Matt Krause, who, by the way, is also running for Attorney General. Brian, is this just a political move instead of an election political move and not necessarily a true investigation?
Yeah, Krause is the third person in a two-person race for Attorney General. He's got to break out, and he's going big here with his big list, as Mark said, of 1,000 books.
Gromer, on a Dallas morning radio show, Representative Krause did not reveal where he got his list that Mark was asking about, but he said the list could expand, it could be smaller, and he also said that if a book is on the list, it doesn't mean that there's a problem with the book. So what's your take on this?
Krause could be using this to curry favor with Republican voters in the primary who care about this issue. We'll see if it works or not. It is a crowded field with George P. Bush, Eva Guzman, and of course, the incumbent Ken Paxton.
I mean, the legality, I think, is going to be sorted out over the coming days or so, but the wisdom, of attacking schools and school teachers, many of whom vote in Republican primaries, well, that remains to be seen.
Neil, there's another issue involving the state getting into local politics, and you wanted to talk about this. This is Prop A in the city of Austin. What strikes you about this one?
Well, two things about it that are important to me, at least. One is the proposition really hits at the heart of this issue of police defunding it. That goes all over, and what the voters have been asked to decide, should Austin police be funded at a greater level, and they spell it out specifically. The other thing is that I'm concerned about the arguments against the proposition that says, well, if you have to increase funding for police, you're going to have to cut funding for libraries and for parks and for homelessness, et cetera. Well, that's a hollow argument in this sense. It is nothing on that ballot that says you have to cut anyplace else. So I think the arguments politically out there so far have resonated pretty much on both sides with a lot of demagoguing. But again, it's a political election. What would you expect?
Brian, in previous discussions, an issue came up where you ended by saying Abbott hates dogs. Well, the governor proved that he doesn't hate dogs. He signed that anti-tethering legislation along with several other bills, some extremely controversial. Was this a victory lap for the governor as he signed all those bills earlier in the week?
In a lot of ways it is. He had a big wish list and he got everything he wanted. When we think about the tethering law, a lot of that's symbolic politics. But as I said before, people love their fur babies, and this makes it right. So for Abbott, a victory lap. I don't think he's going to get bullied into a fourth session.
Gromer, you mentioned earlier that everything is setting up for the next big election. We've got this pivot going on to Del Rio with the migrant caravan that's on the way, the battle between Texas and the federal government. We've got another fight that's looming possibly with child vaccinations, and that will the federal government mandate child vaccinations? And the governor tweeted out this week that he's giving cover to everyone. He says a ban on mandatory vaccinations. Does this fight really pick up next week?
we'll see what happens. But I think the move is in the federal government's court now. The ball's in the federal government's court, I mean.
Let's wrap it up with our one word for the week. Brian, your word.
Mandates.
Gromer.
Prelude.
Neil, your one word.
Elections.
And Mark Wiggins, your one word for the week.
All tricks, no treats.
That's not one word, Mark.
And with that, we'll wrap up this week in Texas politics.